Gesundheit. How you doing? This is Chris, and welcome back to the Classic-Gaming Webcast. This time, I thought we'd kick some ass at one of my favorite arcade games. One of my many, granted. It's a game I like to call Elevator Action. And thankfully, Taito liked to call it that as well when it released the game in 1983. Now, I know that unlike the usual games I like to show you, this one doesn't really need showing. There is probably a few elevator action films by others, at least, but what I would like to discuss is why it's fun. That sort of thing interests me for some reason.
I hunger.
Oh, calm down. At least I have a stomach. Ooh. They look like elevator ladders, huh? The title screen looks a bit Donkey Kongish, doesn't it? In spite of the fact that it's not a Nintendo game. Anyway, that's not important. The gameplay is. And here, it's extremely well done. Ooh, spy music. I played this a couple of times in the 80s, but I didn't realize how much fun it is with a little practice until I really started playing it in the 90s in a little game room I was surprised to discover in the basement of the Student Union building, which means place with food. At the college I was attending, they had Tron, Quantum, Super Breakout, and this one. Anyway, this game is fun because, first of all, the objective is very straightforward. Survive long enough to make it to the ground floor of each building, grabbing all the existing secret documents along the way that are inside these rooms with the red doors. But the manner in which you fulfill this simple objective is up to you, as your possible route and actions are greatly varied. And that's something that's not mentioned enough about a lot of old games. I love those in which you have the freedom to succeed with your own playing style, as opposed to having to merely connect the dots, as it were. A lot of games we've taken a look at together, especially, not especially, but including a couple of my earlier films like Dino Eggs, Raid on Bungling Bay. These really let you achieve your goal with your own individual playing style. The game's apparent simplicity is deceptive, as your options are always numerous on the way down, in this case, and you don't feel confined, in spite of all the elevators, or forced along a narrowly specified course, as you do in all too many 2D shoot-'em-ups. The game's very smooth, the control response is immediate. In a rare case of cutting the player some slack, in an ostensible quarter snatcher, split-second decisions that you're quick enough to execute actually count. In many other games, ducking at the last minute, firing just as the enemy does, and then jumping to evade his bullet, etc., don't count, and you die anyway, due to clumsy programming or very wide collision parameters, Here, even if a bad guy misses you by a mere pixel, you survive. And only their bullets kill you. You don't die upon collision with the guys themselves. I always wondered about that, Bump. Ow, excuse me. Oh wait, I'm dying. I must have been walking pretty quickly to die just by bumping into somebody. In fact, a lot of my usual grievances regarding action games don't apply here. Greedy arcade owners must have hated this game. For example, you can jump and duck, you can fire while doing either one, and you can jump from the ducking position. The whole shebang usually isn't there, You can jump straight up, or sideways. You can jump over one of these elevator shafts if you have to, as long as the central cable isn't currently in the way. And you can kick an enemy in the head if you jump while standing close enough. I usually don't do that. It's more fun to shoot them, And the designers were interested enough in the details of fun to introduce some funny shit. The game's more slapstick than gore. For instance, you can squash a bad guy with an elevator, or even kill him by shooting one of the lights hanging from the ceiling, as you've noticed, so that it falls onto his head. This is one of those awesome they thought of everything games, So it does have that in common with a lot of the other games I've shown you. It really gets rough at the very bottom here, right as you're about to get away. So, strategies. A good thing to keep in mind is that if you see an enemy's gun, he's going to fire. Unless you get him before he does, of course. Otherwise, yay! They keep their guns concealed. I don't know why. Why they would normally keep them hidden, that is. Are they trying to trick me into thinking they're not really bad guys? As if the hats don't give it away. I'd have to be pretty stupid, and I'm not. You look exactly like the last guy who tried to kill me. Were you trying to pose as the hotel staff or something? Assuming that this is a hotel, it could be a library. And I'm raiding book depositories and stealing the books that don't get checked out a lot anymore. They've been locked away for good because they're not popular. So why do they care? If nobody's going to read them because they're not trendy, why not just give them to me? Save yourself all this pointless bad guy death. So greedy, man. Nobody can fire on one of these escalators. It's not called escalator action, after all. I guess that wouldn't have sounded terribly thrilling. Especially if the arcade were in one of those horrid mall things, where people are already fed up with escalators. If you can just complete your mission, you'll be all set on reading material, but the evil king of trend marketing for the gullible majority and gradual illiteracy means to stop you at all costs, even the cost of many bullets and hats. He should have hired tougher henchmen. They die when lights fall on them. Or at least he could have sprung for some helmets. Other tips: as you've seen, it's good to shoot an adversary in the head while you're descending on an elevator, before you even get low enough to be in his firing range, in other words. Then fire all the time once things get crowded in later buildings, because there'll always be some guy trying to sneak out a doorway while you're facing the other way. And you thought having to talk with strangers while waiting for an elevator was bad. Here, if it takes too long, you die. If this is a hotel, I want my money back. My 25-cent room fee, and no pool. Free cars in the basement, though. Or maybe that's actually what I'm doing here. I left my car keys in one of the rooms. One of the red rooms. Anyway, along the same lines, you want to try to shoot him in the ankles, which are apparently very weak, as you're going up. You have control over an elevator that you're standing within. Very cool. Well, going up and down anyway. Not sideways. What are you, nuts? That would be cool though, wouldn't it? I'll shoot that good guy and defend the books. Holy shit, there's an elevator flying down the hallway. Ah! That's my acting. Come on, you know you're impressed. Get the fuck out of here. Unfortunately, if you take too long in a building, you lose control of the elevators. Or at least they become very slow to respond for some reason. I guess your hot wiring gets sloppier as time goes on. Bummer. But you do get plenty of time before that happens. They didn't want to reverse the effects of the freedom you're given, after all. You can jump while standing in an elevator as well. You just get so much control, you know? Terrific game. They really outdid themselves with this one. I'm gonna make it, again. Nah. Ducked right into it, didn't I? You can jump or duck while standing on top of an elevator, but of course you don't have any control over it from up there. Man, I'll do it. I still have lives. An enemy can only fire once every few seconds, so a great way to avoid being deflated, apparently, is what it looks like when you die. So, armed with only a gun and an air pump, your blow-up spy can avoid bullets, as I was saying, by rapidly moving an elevator up and down, causing the bullets to hit the floor or ceiling of the elevator. I told you I'd do it. Instead of the occupant of the elevator. That's you. Alright, now I'm just getting cocky. You trick him into firing, in other words, then lining up with him in all confidence that you have a second, thereby shooting him and saying, "Ha! I got you, I got you, lie down, I call, you're dead." Starting in the second building, as you've seen, the enemies finally learn that complicated combat move, ducking. So you really want to try shooting them from elevators only, at least as often as possible, instead of ducking like you usually do while you're both in the corridor, because now he can duck and blast you at the same time if you're not really fast. You know, another reason why this game feels good to play is that you can, as you've seen, just blast the hell out of a direction. If you tap the fire button quickly enough, you can fire a group of many bullets very closely together. And if you do this while riding an elevator, these bullets of yours are all at slightly different altitudes, meaning that you'll definitely hit your target, in spite of the 3 bullets on screen at once limit. The bad guy death sound is subtly funny, and oddly satisfying. It's a hell of a jump you got, isn't it? Both legs in the air? Now how are you doing that? Of course, if you're filled with air, I guess you're very light. Most home versions are pretty good, but the Commodore 64 translation by Quicksilva is such a failure to take advantage of that great computer. It could have been terrific, right? But you only get one very slow bullet on screen at once, and it doesn't even go all the way down the corridor. It gives up after just a couple of game feet, like, I'm in a shitty conversion. And you see red doors on the title screen of that one, but they're not in the game. They just blink. Merely cosmetic, I know, but indicative of the shoddiness there. What I really dig is that which doors are red in the real game are random. So as often... Man. I'm going to try another game. I wasn't done talking about it. First I want to finish making this point. Yeah, the red doors are random, so as you often have to figure out a rather circuitous route, you never play the same game of elevator action twice. It's nifty that way. It's just one of those games that seems very compelling to fire up when you're thinking about playing it, you know? There's really something about the movement and firing that's pleasurable. As you've seen, a rather puzzly element is also introduced eventually, in that every elevator near the bottom will only go so high and so low, meaning that you'll have to figure out which combination of lifts will get you to the nearest red door, or the lower stories, as the case may be. So you sometimes have to look at a cluster of elevators as a shifting labyrinth. So, see, the game seems to be straightforward, but there's a lot to say about it, a lot to point out. Was this called lift action in the UK? Probably not. There is an elevator action too, but the extra animation, not to mention the more constrained route that you need to take, greatly curtail all of the feel-good simplicity, combined with in this game, your great control over the proceedings that I've just talked about. And the building in the sequel just decides to blow up after a couple of minutes. Granted, I haven't played it very much, but what, I think I can safely ask, the fuck is that? So here, the simplex elements interact in complex, extremely varied ways. And in case it isn't clear, I like it. I just wanted to play that great game with you for a little while and explain what I believe makes it more fun than you might think it is if you haven't given it much of a chance. For our goofy fun at the end here, I'd like to spend a little more time with each game and really try to figure it out instead of expressly looking for funny things to say. I'd like that. I'd like that a lot. And a game I thought about a few days ago for reasons that escape me is Zookeeper. It's a game I've only played a few times, and I've never given much of a chance. What I know about this game, for reasons lost in time, is that it's a John Morgan game. It's one of the few games by Taito America. Play me. That was kind of desperate. Hold animals in. Yeah, the other American Taito games are Space Dungeon and Kicks. Jump over the animals. That's right. See that fuse up there near the top? As it passes through the bonus items, that's when they appear. And I think the waves end in a funny manner in this game. You just survive. That's your objective, really. Until the time runs out and then you beat the screen. Gotcha! Well, that hypothetical player apparently walked away from the machine there. It's like, hell with this game. So yes, this is from 1982. How long can you hold the animals in? How long can you put off starting the game for me? It's funny sounds. Player 1. Hey, that's me. Alright. He's not a zookeeper, he's a mason. A really fast one. Look how quickly he's laying these bricks. You can steer in midair, which is cool. Oh, that was easy. These poor animals are so desperate to get out they can bite through bricks. I say just let them go at that point. Or study them. It's a hell of a thing going on. This game was originally called King Crab. I don't know why. The sequel, of course, would have been called Syphilis Invaders. This net, or shovel, or whatever it is, like bops them back into the cage. It's more of a building. Oh, that's right, this bonus round. Get to the top to rescue your girlfriend. Well, that's original. Ouch. It looks easy when you're just looking at it. I'm doing all the work here, and believe me, there's something weird about the controls. This game should be so much fun, right? It should be kind of satisfying, filling in the bricks real quickly like that. There's just something, you know, I've talked a lot about how all the little details, all the little things they thought of add up. Oh, now that wasn't fair at all. I'm going to try again. Have a coconut appear right there. She's probably throwing them at me. And there's just something missing here. I don't know. Can't put my shovel on it. Of course, these animals do suck. So I don't want to kill them, but it'd be cool if you beat a wave by breaking all the way to the center and squashing them or something like that, you know? That sounded funny, or something like that. The hell's that? A chimera. It's probably a baby elephant or something. A really baby elephant. My bricklayer towers over him. So yeah, I mean, the animals kill you with just one touch. Maybe they're like those awful poisonous frogs you read about. They can jump really high. He's a man of many skills. My hero. Oh, now I'm her hero. Including trapping animals with acidic fur. That was close. But a joypad, it's kind of tricky to corner. The original arcade panel, I'm sure it was a lot more fun. I think I played it once. I originally saw this game on the 80s game show Starcade. Oh, there's no wall here at all. I get to start from scratch. I can do that, no problem. So everything except that net or shovel, depending on how violent a mood you're in, is merely there for bonus points. I'm doing okay so far, this time. Till some smartass with a ball and paddle shows up. That was a little breakout reference for you. I'm sure you caught it. That's right, I'm going to do this again. Just to show her. Rescue her from her island paradise up there just out of spite. It's kind of fun, not too bad. Another game I wanted to check out today, and which I've only given a few chances over the years, and only briefly at that, is Mappy. A game by Namco that was distributed over here by Bally Midway. I've been listening to a podcast called the Retro Gaming Roundup. They recently mentioned this game. Talked about a strategy, or I guess an actual aspect of the game that I had not previously been aware of. Now, did you have to emulate this part too? The items in the building, the items that you have to grab, appear in pairs. It's like a Mappy nightmare here. And if you grab something that matches what you've just taken, you get a whole lot of bonus points, I guess. And presumably this leads to faster extra lives. Micro police. Oh man, I'm a pig? Well, I'm a mouse pig. They're different. They bounce on trampolines, if memory serves, and it usually does, so let's kick some Mappy ass here. Jump on trampoline. Oh, that's right, you knock the bad guys unconscious when you open the door into them really hard. Microwave. A microwave door. That is a mystery. You can fry an egg on that door. Oh, that almost made sense. Alright. I don't know why he's called Mappy. As far as I know, he doesn't consult a map at all in this game. Maybe that means something in Japan. Like mouse that can jump on trampolines. They have a word for everything over there. Oh. Well, I missed it. That's handy. The thing that matches what you've just picked up flashes. I'm so used to jumping in elevator action and zookeeper that I forgot you can't jump here. The button is for the door that you're standing next to. If you want to open it, you push the button. So I didn't bounce back into that guy. So you have to get on the right side of the door for you and the wrong side for him. I don't know. There's something fun about this jumping around thing and then picking the floor you want to jump to just by moving to the left or right while you're in midair. And they can't kill you in midair, as you've noticed. During a bounce, you are invulnerable. Maybe you're smart enough to just get in front of them. We players don't notice because it's a 2D game. Whoa! Thought that little point value was going to kill me. You can get trapped too easily for me, but I'm not practiced. I'll stick to it for a few minutes here. The difficulty starts out pretty high, I think. But again, maybe if I played just a few times, this first building would be a breeze. So why am I stealing things from a building if I'm the micro police? Maybe they stole them and I'm taking them back. I don't know where this old mouse is keeping all this stuff. I don't think I want to know. See, I didn't bounce back into him there either. Oh, a microwave door. I would cook you. Wish you'd turn your police band radio off. Cute music, it gets annoying after a while. Oh, I did it. I mean, I meant to do that. Round 2. Alright, bad guys. Round 2 sounds like something you'd say in an action movie just before jumping into an enemy, which normally wouldn't kill you. but this is video game land. Alright, so you can't jump up through that trampoline all the way to the left, so it gets more and more maze-like as the game goes on. That's kind of cool. Alright, so you can't bounce back from a door into two bad guys at once and expect it to be effective. So I'm really opening a door hard into myself. Can you just jump backward and knock them out? If you have such powerful ears. So there's the blinking thing. Gotcha. At least these guys have stolen useful things. It's almost a happy little song when you die. Like, you don't have to play this game anymore. No, I'm sure it's fun. I'm determined to make it fun. I mean, come on, it's a video game. I love them. Alright, now I know what I'm doing. Did you see that? A blinking thing right away. See, the problem is, unless it has scrolled onto the screen, and I do like the scrolling element, that's cool. You can't see the other side of the platform you're on, or that you've chosen in the midst of your jump. So you can't tell if another bad guy's going to trap you from the other side. And if you've landed on it, there's one behind you, one in front of you, that's it. You're stuck. There's nothing you can do. So it like teases you with the bouncing fun. But actually turns out to be a kind of claustrophobic game. And I'm going to get the hang of it here. It's a neat idea. I mean, I've never played any other game quite like this, you know? I can't think of these elements being in anything else. So it's a great idea. Love the originality. That'll always cause me to give something a chance. So there are so many games now that one has. I mean, if you're one of those collectors, they're cheaper, right, than they used to be, and now we all have jobs. We're all grown up, ostensibly. 2 buildings, thank you very much. I'm convinced that it's not really nostalgia or good past associations that keeps us loving these early games. If that is a factor, it's only part of the story. It's just that back then, you didn't have very many games at once. If you got a new one, you knew that, you know, the next new one would not be forthcoming for quite a while because they were expensive, and at best we had allowances, you know. So if you got a new game, you were going to play the hell out of it, whether it was just immediately great fun or not. Right? You were just going to learn every corner of that game. You were going to try until you got past every screen, you know, using trial and error to devise a strategy. I was talking to Adam about this. He's currently kicking progressive ass. Bounty Bob Strikes Back, a very difficult but fantastic 8-bit computer game. On the, you know, the Ataris, the Commodore 64, and Miner 2049er back in the 80s. Boy, I played every screen over and over and over until I learned the best way to beat it, just because I only had 10 or 20 games. And now, whether you collect cheaply or you have emulators like I do, there are thousands and thousands of games to choose from at any given time. Oh, now I'm doing better. A bonus round. So you don't tend to give each one anywhere near that amount of time. Alright, I've accidentally learned how to break through one of the trampolines, which you can do down there too. I think that's enough, Mappy. But if you really take time with a game, even now, and care about doing well, it can be just as much fun, and that's my theory. We check out the newer MAME for our last game here, my random key combination. They don't look as good for some reason as in my older MAME. 1978 Atari. A prototype, Wolfpack. But there are more games to choose from. Oh, alright, just leave me alone. Yeah, that's fine. As soon as I figure out where my fire button is, you're dead. I got a little excited about that, didn't I? Ooh, 1978 Atari. Oh, cool voice, man. Love those older graphics. They were such custom machines in many cases. You'd think the graphics would always be more primitive, but it's not always the case. I don't know why I don't leave the poor things alone. Look at that, they look lost. They told me I was going to be in Frogger. Oh no. Well, that wasn't dangerous. It looked like a tugboat. Some of these look like they're on like a luxury cruise. A really fun one, because they give the passengers weapons. A leisure cruise or whatever they call them. Not my kind of thing. Not many actual enemies. Really cool explosions. Such a cool voice. I prefer this kind of science fiction-y voice, that computer-y kind, to real voice samples. Whoa, that's a huge enemy boat. Either that or I'm really low in the water. And he's coming really close. That's why he's the enemy. He wants to steal my fishing pole. Even worse, my voice synthesizer. Oh, that's right, a lot of these early games were timed instead of being life-based. Well, that was cool. Thank you for watching, and until I can ride one of the action-y elevators up through the ceiling, like Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka style, and eat my chocolate gun instead of ruining all those hats, this is Chris. Who can take a hotel, sprinkle it with blood, turn on the fire hoses and kill 'em in a flood? The This Is Chris Man. The This Is Chris Man can. Okay, that's not going to be funny at all if you haven't heard the Candyman. But hey, not my fault. Get the original movie. See ya.
The humanoid must not escape.
Orphaned Computers and Game Systems was a paper newsletter Adam started, and ultimately wound up mailing it out around the world to quite a few subscribers. We both eventually wrote articles for it, and it became a website in 2000, and nowadays it looks like this. Pretty snazzy, huh? If you enjoyed the type of stuff you just watched and heard in the film, and still enjoy reading once in a while, I think you'll really dig the articles we have on orphanedgames.com, or if you prefer more modern parlance, orphanedgames.com. We cover a lot of classic games on a variety of classic platforms, and we try to feature games that you won't read about or hear about anywhere else. So I think you really enjoy the articles. And our front page culminates in the Classic-Gaming Bookcast, a free PDF. It's a book I wrote quite a few years back. It's the same type of stuff, a mixture of attempted humor and attempted insight. And it's not just a bunch of words. There are some screenshots, as you can see. All of these chapters and all the more recent articles can be found at orphanedgames.com. Orphaned Computers and Game Systems since 1994. No, really.